Hello, this is Sam from NOTD, back with a new breakdown video, and today we're gonna walk through our song not Bruce Wayne. Today we're gonna walk through our song Lover Online together with Maya Wright, and we made this song in a session together with Maya and Chris Collins, and it was a super fun session. Both of them are amazing and amazing persons, so of course it was fun. We actually finished most of the song in just one session. I remember we finished this session and then we kept working on it, and like at 5 a.m. we sent back a version to Maya and Chris, and that was basically the final version. Then of course we added some small tweaks here and there, but most of it happened very quick, so that's fun. But anyways, let's go into the project and we'll show you the production, and as usual we're gonna mute the beautiful vocals and focus on just the production. So first verse sounds like this. Okay, so what do we have? We have some drums. The drums sounds like this. So we have a kick drum, kind of a filtered down kick drum. Then we have it layered with like a garage loop. And this is from like a splice pack. And then we have that layered with some hi-hat loops. And we made this by throwing in a loop into this simpler, and we have it on this slice mode, and it basically automatically slices the loop up by transients, so you kind of get each drum hit on a different like MIDI note, and that way you can create your own sort of loops, and we've been doing this a lot because a lot of the songs on the EP has some sort of swing to it, and there's really hard in Ableton at least to work in audio when like making swing. It's much easier just here making it in the MIDI and then put this swing groove on. So yeah, we made some hi-hat loops using that technique, and then that's also layered with this drum loop. And this is a loop that Toby airdropped, and then we put it in the project. So those are the drums, and then that is also going through some compression and this saturator and a little bit of EQ, taking away some of this 200 hertz muddy frequency. So that's the drums, and then we have some instruments. So we have 3 layers here. We have a bass thing. We made this with Operator. It's a saw wave with some filter cutoff thingy, and we're also automating the filter slightly, and then we're taking away a little bit of the low end, and then that's going through an RC20, and then this little EQ taking out a bit more of the low end, and then this EQ we're only turning on in the second verse, because then we're adding another bass, so we didn't want them to clash, so we're just taking out more lows in the second verse. And on top of that we have this layer. And this layer is basically playing like the main melody, which, by the way, is one of my favorite melodies. Very happy with it. But yeah, it's playing that melody. It's this choreographs contact library. It's just a preset, I think. And then that's going through some RC20, some low cut, and some delay, and also a bit of more EQ. And we bounced that out because, I don't know, I think that preset sounds kind of like random. So sometimes it sounds good and sometimes it doesn't. So we just bounced it out to make sure it always sounds good. And on top of that, we have these like vocal chops. So here we're using kind of the same technique as the hi-hat loops. We put the lead vocal into this slice mode in simpler, and yeah, we made this like MIDI pattern, and then that's going through some like formant shifting with little alter boy, and then a bad channel which is kind of distorting the sound and making it sound just more interesting. Bad channel is a sick plugin. And then also this like super filtered type of EQ curve, and then also a Valhalla vintage verb, which is on the non-lead mode. And I don't exactly know what the non-lead mode is doing, but basically you don't control the reverb with the decay, you just control it with the size and attack. And here we wanted a super short reverb, so we have the size and attack on 0, and then 60% mix. So those are the vocal chops and the instruments. And here in this little intro, we're also having like some vocal chops from this splice loop. Okay, that's it for the verse actually. Then we're going into the pre. That sounds like this. Yeah, the pre might be my favorite part of the song. I really like the pre. So here we can start with the drums. It's basically the same as the verse. We're just taking out the kick here in the pre, and instead we're adding a clap. Boom, boom, boom. And then both of these, the bass layer and like the plucky melody thing is still going on in the pre. I think this melody thing is being a little more like filtered up in the pre section, and the bass we're taking up 1 octave, and we're also adding like some like bass fills with just putting that into MIDI. And then we have some chords, which is also from this choreographs library, with some just some low cut. So those are the main layers. Then we're also adding a Reese bass, which is made inside Serum. It's 2 saw waves with just some like detuning. Basically we're tuning one of the saw waves a little bit down and then one of the saw waves a little bit up, which creates some detuning, and then that's going through this filter with some drive, and then also some more like a little bit of a low cut, and then taking away this like muddy frequency. And then we also have this vital thing that's playing some sort of melody. And that's kind of playing with the vocal. Like if I play the vocal. Like we created this sort of delay thing with the vocal, and that and this melody thing is kind of playing together. And then of course the vocal chops here is also still going. And they are also being like filtered up during this pre. And I think that's pretty much all the layers. Then we of course have some effects, but that's kind of boring. It's just risers and downsweeps and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's pre. Then we're going into the chorus. That sounds like this. Okay, let's start with the drums again. They are super similar to how the pre is. We're layering up the clap with one more clap. Then we're also taking away the garage loop, and then we're adding one more hi-hat on top. And then for the instruments, here is the main pluck. Yeah, it consists of 2 layers, and I think those layers together sound so good. So the first layer and the main layer is this one. So it's from Operator. It's kind of similar to the saw bass in the verse. It's just this saw wave with some filter cutoff thing, and then some RC20, then some delay, and then this little EQ. On top of that layer we have this same sort of layer that we also had in the verse, but this time it's like a little more busy in the MIDI, and it's also being more filtered up. So yeah, it's the same preset as the verse. It's this choreograph thing. And then that's going through some RC20 and some delay and some low cut. Then we're also having some reverb on both of these layers. It's being like automated up right before the drop to make the sound kind of disappear right before the drop. So that's the reverb, and then we're having a little bit of an EQ, and then we're limiting the layers. Just to take away a little bit of those peaks. Then we're having some ambience. Which is also from Contact. I think it's from the Cycles library. And then we're having an M1 bass, like the classic M1 Korg sound. And this is from Spire. It's this preset. It's a preset. Toby showed me this preset, and now it's my favorite, like M1 Korg sound. It's very good. I recommend. Then we have Diva bass. Kind of playing more sustained bass notes. And the last layer is these funky bass notes. And we bounced these out, so I don't exactly remember, but I can try to recreate it. So I think it's a saw wave, something like that, and then we have some like legato. And then we're using this multipass on this pitch driver preset. Yeah, that's basically the sound. I think it's more to it actually, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And we bounce this out because again, here, like this multipass thing is kind of random. Sometimes it sounds good and sometimes it sounds pretty shitty. So we bounced it out and made sure to only like pick the parts where it doesn't sound like shit. And that's pretty much all the layers. Then we're going into the drop section where we're keeping the vocal, so it's kind of like a drop chorus. But yeah, it sounds like this. So let's start with some drums again, because they're pretty much the same here again. Now we added back the garage loop. We have all of the hi-hat loops playing, and then of course a kick, and here is the kick. It's a kick from the Caracol Projects. He has a Patreon, so it's from like a Patreon pack. And then a little bit of EQ, and then we also added like a clap here. Very subtle, but that's pretty much everything that we're adding to the drums. And for all the instruments, it's pretty simple too. We have the main pluck still going on. And then we added a bass, and here we actually added like, this is the same bass as Bruce Wayne, I think, at least, because we took this bass and this pluck from Bruce Wayne and just put it in this song as well. So that's the bass and then the pluck from Bruce Wayne, but just playing the same thing as the main pluck here in Lover Online. Yeah, just to like layer it up a little bit in the drop to make it sound a bit more full. And that's it for the drop. Then of course we have Ellis Crash. Amazing crash. Okay, then we're going into a post hook where we added a vocal chop. I can play it all together. Okay, so here we have the lead layer that we're adding. So for the vocal chop, it's the same technique here again. We're slicing it up with this slice mode in simpler, and then we made this like MIDI pattern, so each of these notes are like a different part from the vocal, and then that's going through this non-linear reverb again with a bit size to it, so now it's a little more of a bigger reverb, and then 40% mix, and then also a little bit of delay. And then we're also supporting that with a pluck layer. And it's pretty much the same as like the main pluck. It's from operator, the saw wave, going through some RC20 and some delay. And also this arpeggiator thing. It's inside Serum. Looks like we made this preset. It's a saw wave with together with a sine wave going through this high pass filter, kind of like a plucky envelope, with some low cut, some hyper dimension on 0 mix, so we don't have any hyper dimension. Then we have some saturation on this tube thing, and then a bit of low pass filter or low pass, low pass. So that's it. Looks like we're also doing some cutoff automation here. Yeah, just like filtering up the automation. So those are the lead layers that we're adding. Then we're also adding this layer. Which is from our Novation Summit synth. Yeah, it's not like a VST, it's an actual synth, and that's why it's in audio. And then also this vital layer, just playing like one note. It's the same preset as before, and also a little bit of ambience. Okay, so that's the drop and the post section. Then we're going into a second verse, which is pretty similar to the first verse. We're keeping the kick, we're keeping the clap, basically all of the layers from the drop besides one of the drum loops. And we also have the same layers as in the first verse, like this bass layer and the melody loop. We're only adding this plucky layer, just like supporting that main melody thing. And then we're also keeping like the sub bass from the drop. And I think that's it. We're also having the vocal chops here. But yeah, that's it. Then we're going into a second pre. And here we're actually taking out a lot of elements. We wanted to make something interesting happen, so we took away a lot of elements, so it's mostly this layer. So it's mostly just that and the vocal, which I think sound really nice together. I just wanna have fun, I just wanna be dumb, I just wanna dance on my own. So yeah, the layers are that melody loop. We also have a clap, and some ambience. And then in the second half of the pre, we wanted to build it up a little more again. So we're adding some hi-hats. We're also adding this funky bass. And that one also kind of acts like a transitional element to that second half of the pre. We're also adding this little fill, I don't know. It's the same preset as the ARP in the post hook, but now we're just playing this little thing. And then the vital melody thing. And then we're also bringing back the re-space in the second half. So the second pre sounds like this. Okay, awesome. And the rest of the song is pretty much just copy-paste. The second build-up is exactly the same, second drop is the same, and then the post thingy is the same. So yeah, the only thing we're adding more is like ad-libs on the vocal. We have like some choppy things. And then of course some ad-libs. Yeah. Very nice vocals. Okay, the last part is an outro, which is also very simple. We just have the main pluck, keep going in the outro. Wait, let me play the outro. Yes, so we have the main pluck playing. And during the outro, it's kind of being like filtered down, like it's kind of fading away. And then we have some ambience and then Maya's vocals. Boom. There you have it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not a lot going on in the song. I feel like most of it is just evolving around that like main plucky melody thing. And then of course the amazing vocal. But yeah, that was it, I think. If you have more questions, as always, let us know in the comments, and then we can answer. And also, we'll be back with a new video soon. So, bye bye.